Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Deham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Yeah, that's what we were going to ask. How many were not there yesterday?
So many.
Mostly.
Okay. Yeah. So welcome, dear friends and devotees. Thank you very much. Coming on again a working day, right? So we initiated the discussion yesterday at our beautiful temple, and we presented this concept of the tree of life. It is a lifestyle discussion seminar during which we let me give you a background so that you understand today's discussion even better. So we certainly learn a lot of things from the divine books of Srila Prabhupada, right? Who was our beloved founder Acharya. And yet, knowledge about spirituality is not restricted only to that. And nature has provided various avenues for learning so many things simply by being a very good observer. So, this particular discussion is based on the understanding of looking at the tree with a bit of a philosophical lens, right? And comparing the tree to our life. There are deep similarities about the tree and our life. The tree, therefore, this discussion will take us through a wholesome understanding whereby if we understand things properly about the tree analysis, we'll be able to lead what is called as a wholesome life. As you can see in the slide, there are 8 sectors to our life, beginning with career plans, plans for self growth, We have our plans for financial well-being. We look forward to our to having some fun and relaxation. We also are concerned about our relationships. We obviously interested about spiritual growth, right? And we interested about emotional and our mental health, right? So these are eight sectors, irrespective of whether you are American, Indian, Hindu, Muslim, black, white, gray, whatever color you are. Every human being in human civilization will have these eight defined needs, right? And to have a program whereby we can address these properly, that gives us a great advantage. Why? Because that makes us spiritually strong. We mentioned yesterday that since the spiritual life is essentially going against the current of the material world, where the material world is a different type of propaganda about what life is all about. And definitely the Vaishnavas, the spirituality, the Gita and the Bhagavad, they recommend a different flow of life. And to go against the set current and live by the values which you have set as sacred, the strength of conviction. So we require, we talked about having strength. Once you have strength, strong, then actually you can really help others. So Mahaprabhu Chaitanya has said, Janmakar, because only those who are strong in their, anybody, first you have to be strongly fixed in the understanding of the goal of life and the means to do it, right? So the tree has three parts, as we know: the roots, trunk, and the crown. And the roots is basically our inner self. There is an outer self and there's the inner self. Inner self is something like the garbhagriha of a temple, right? The body is considered as a temple, right? And the inner self is like the garbhagriha where the soul resides, the Lord resides. It is our inner ecosystem whereby where there is, you know, our convictions, our intentions, our motivations, all are generated, right? And the we don't see the roots. Similarly, we can't see people's motivations, we can't see people's convictions and faith, right? And yet, the strength of the root determines the strength of the entire tree. Similarly, how strong we are within our inner self, right, is what gives us real strength in life. And therefore, the process to strengthen these roots in general is called by the general term of called as sadhana, right? So sadhana means doing all our spiritual practices. There are various practices which I mentioned. Essentially, the Navamida Bhakti is there, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, etc. Then doing our chanting, doing our swadhyay, doing our association, going on Tirtha Yatras, serving the deity of the Lord, eating prasadam. These are all practices which we all follow. What are they meant for? Ultimately, the goal is to strengthen the roots of our Krishna consciousness, right? And therefore, these roots signify our personal relationship with God Himself. Hmm. That's about the inner self. The root, the purpose of root, of course, is very obvious. It is to give sustenance and stability to our consciousness. The consciousness is always being impacted by various forces in this world. There are a lot of negative forces which impact our consciousness. Therefore, to remain steady, right? And one of the aspects of bhakti is to remain steady in the midst of so much of fluctuations of consciousness created by the environment around us, right? So to remain steady, you require strong roots, right? Therefore, and the next thing we said about is growth retarders. Growth retarders means even though roots are very important for growth, still there will always be situations where there will be things which will retard the growth of our bhakti lata beach. What could they be? There could be many of them, but essentially there are two. One is called as offenses. That means we are like the elephant taking our bath in the holy association of devotees and the holy name, and yet when we come out, we may mistakenly take a roll around in the ground again in the mud and then become dirty again, right? So offenses is about having some critical, some derogatory, some negative comments and opinions and voicing them about people who are following Krishna consciousness. The Lord loves his devotees and does not tolerate people who are doing that, and therefore he withdraws his grace, from our life. And the proof of his withdrawing grace is what? We lose a taste for spirituality. We won't feel like so much being part of any Krishna conscious activity. It's somehow you lose the a sense of importance of that. And when we know that we are doing sense of importance, we know that we are making some mistake. We are doing something which is not proper, right? And therefore we want to remain conscious that we do not have any offensive behavioral traits in our dealings with the Vaishnavas, and we are very sensitive to that particular thing, right? Because they are very, very important how we deal with Vaishnavas because they're very dear to Krishna, right? And then of course also we have doubts. Doubt also means that when we we are connected with the literatures around the social media and the various things around us, that and maybe if you are in association with people who are non-devotees, that can create some doubt. Does this process really work? Is it really worth giving my surrendering myself to this process? See, we are Krishna says is a very heavy price. Krishna is saying Sarvadharman Prateja Mam Ekam. Right? So he's making a very powerful request and almost a demand. Right? So is it really worth doing that? So we may get our convictions, but if we are somewhat poisoned by doubt, again we may start withdrawing. So to keep a steady faith and a sharanagat attitude towards the Lord and move forward with that attitude is very important, and not allowing doubts to impinge and retard the acceleration towards Krishna. Right? And that is what this viewer is talking about.
Mhm. And we spoke about the trunk yesterday, how the trunk is the visible part of the tree. The root is not visible to others, but the trunk everybody can see. Why? Because it is our lifestyle. How we live our life, that is what the world can perceive and form a impression about us. This is the visible part, and it is how we actually stand in this world, right? So we divided this into three parts, that what constitutes the trunk part. One is our physical strength, one is our social lifestyle, and one is the emotional lifestyle which we have got. The physical part consists, or physical well-being consists of three things which we discussed in detail yesterday, about a good healthy balanced diet which can help us to make our uh, trunk strong. Then second was regulated healthy sleep patterns in today's erratic world is a challenge for everybody. So how we can early to bed, early to rise, what we can do and have quality sleep. It is not the quantity. So the earlier we sleep, like recently we had a get together with His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj. Some devotees were asking Maharaj, how can we uh, chant our rounds better? Can you give us some tips? So Maharaj, that was a question, and Maharaj just straight away asked, what time do you sleep? So then he couldn't understand what's the connection between that. Huh? So he said this time. So he said devotees mistake that I want to try to get up early and chant better rounds, but that is not possible unless we are well rested. If you are well rested and slept properly, then automatically you will be able to get up early, and automatically you will not feel sleepy in your chanting. Your japa will be healthy, your focus will be better, your concentration would be good. So you have to work backward, not in the morning, but what time we take rest, right? So that is why, because there is direct connection with food, our health, and of course exercise to keep our body healthy, because the body is a vehicle. It's a vehicle to be able to perform our devotional service, right? If we don't have a healthy body, then what will we serve Krishna? We cannot serve Krishna nicely. So if we really want to serve, not to get on the bodily platform, but understanding the connection of having a healthy body to be able to serve Krishna, we spoke about these three pillars of health. So that will help us to have a good physical well-being. Then we spoke about social lifestyle, that man, because he's a social person, he cannot be happy alone without, because his happiness is connected to other people. It's always connected, right? If others around you are happy, only then you can be happy. We are not sadists that people go to hell, everybody. I just want to be happy. We can't, right? Can a mother be happy if the children and the husband is not happy? Can father be happy if his wife and child is not happy? Can you be happy if your friends are not happy around you? Nobody is happy with you. No, but Krishna is happy with me because he doesn't tell me he's unhappy, right? We just presume that, but that's not possible. So how do we get happiness? Through relationships, through things and relationship. But the happiness through things is temporary, happiness through people is permanent. So we have to learn how to enhance our social quotient to be able to have good relationships with people around us. And usually that is not dependent on the opposite person, right? It's a two-way traffic. 50% onus is on the opposite person, 50% onus is on us. How I am working to maintain a relationship, because everything takes maintenance. Nothing happens automatically, right? Okay, does your car get automatically? No, you have to maintain it. There is some degree of maintenance you have to put. The house, if you don't take care of the house, do regular cleaning or repairing for whatever leakage or whatever happens, will the house last long? No. Everything requires input. You have to maintain, regular annual, yeah, invest in that. That's why you have annual maintenance contracts, right? AMCs. So even for relationships, we should understand that it doesn't happen, just by having it once. So many ups and downs will be in a relationship. Takes years to build a relationship, but if you can break it in a second. So similarly, we have to understand that I need to do things from my side which will help me to maintain these relationships. And the three main parts in our life as devotees is: one, because we have a professional life, we are working in a professional world. It's not that, oh, devotees are happy with me now, forget all the people in my workplace, let them do whatever they. No, they also have to be happy. Your boss has to be happy with you. So what we can do on that front, plus family, of course, is our immediate responsibility to make them happy. And friends means for us is our co-devotees. Of course, other friends also, but the Vaishnav community, it is the people around us. Because anywhere, if there are two vessels, there is going to be noise. So, same thing. If people of different psychology, different mentality, when we come together, there is going to be some rough edges. And how we can focus on that and try to make our social lifestyle strong will very much help us to take care of the trunk. And we gave the formula yesterday of the heart. HEART. Does anybody remember of those who were there? H stands for
Humility,
humility. E for
empathy,
empathy. A for
appreciation,
R and T.
respect, tolerance.
Thank you, Haribol.
So it's an easy way to remember. Even if you forget everything, if you can remember this, it will go a great extent, because these are not words. We can say, oh, humility, humility, Trinadapi Sunichena. We can give classes on humility. But, when Krishna does something to us, then we pray, oh, Krishna, make me humble. And some devotee tells you something, or your family members tell, not like this. Means we want conditional humility. We want to guide God to make me humble, but in this way, not in that way. But sometimes family life, we say, is like a laboratory. Everything what you are going to speak, preach, stand for, think about, you will all learn at home. Tolerance, we will learn at home. Forgiveness, we will learn at home. Appreciation, we have to appreciate at home first. Charity begins at home. Respect doesn't only mean respect like this, but respect is we respect each other's opinion, we respect each other's viewpoints, and yeah, we respect each other's mutual differences, and we can coexist and live together. So that's the type of respect which we spoke about. So all these things put together can give us a very healthy what life? Social life. And the third thing which makes a strong trunk was a strong mental and emotional strength to have, right? Today, most of the diseases we discussed is due to emotional and mental weaknesses. When you are broken down on an emotional and mental platform, they manifest in physical diseases. You could get cancer and TB and thyroid and diabetes and everything just because you might not be mentally okay, right? So it is our first responsibility how we can become emotionally and mentally strong. So we discussed how we should not give the key of our happiness in anybody else's hand. We want to become emotionally strong and not very labile and sentimental. At the drop of a hat we start breaking down emotionally or start crying, or we don't know how to handle ourselves. So some tips which we discussed, which psychologists give to have a good emotional and mental strength is: first was the MYOB principle, mind your own business, right? We don't want to try to compare with people and see that this one is doing that, that one is not doing this properly, and this one. Let's focus on ourselves instead of trying to see that what others are doing, that what they are doing others will take care of them. But why I should get disturbed because what others are doing? Everybody has a right to live the way they want to live. So we don't want to become self appointed counselors or opinion makers, or yeah, sit in judgment for other people. Let others do what they are doing. You will be much more peaceful and happy if you can apply this principle. Second is, if we are mentally strong we can handle feedback. I mean getting feedback, not giving feedback. Everybody loves to give feedback, but very difficult to handle feedback, especially somebody, just a stray person can come and give a feedback, or close people give feedbacks which we can't take it. We feel that we want to maintain a particular image in front of them, but when people they want to give us some correction or some suggestion, we get immediately withdrawn, that no, I know what is best, you don't need to tell me that. So only a strong person can take feedback without feeling let down or emotionally down. Third thing was, we spoke about clean lifestyle, clean in habits, clean in character, clean in mental makeup. Whatever we are talking of is not the external cleanliness, internal cleanliness we are saying. So we should be transparent inside outside. Today the world around us is very easy to make us unclean in our thoughts, unclean in our speech, unclean in our actions, unclean in our behavior. But we do not have to succumb to that. And one of the major parts that is played in our life for making us unclean is social media. Mobile Asur, as we called it yesterday. There is a secret weapon which you have got. Even though I'm doing wrong things, nobody around me will know about it. I could be sitting in the midst of sadhus and still doing something wrong. Nobody will come to know because it's between me and the mobile. That much, that secret weapon that I have got. So it's a, they say, weapon of mass destruction. It has destroyed the cleanliness of the whole world. So we have to protect ourselves from that aspect. And the fourth thing which we spoke about was acceptance. Several things in our life. How many things happen as per our expectation? How many? None. None तो नहीं होता. But mostly things don't happen the way we expect. So yesterday somebody asked a question about expectation, that how we can not have expectations in life. Having expectation is natural. It's not necessary that I should have no expectation from anybody. I don't expect anything from you, not from you, not from you, not. You cannot. You have expectation from yourself also, right? But the crux, the real word, the good word for expectation is what? Have realistic expectations, which are very doable, which are grounded. Then you will never be frustrated. And in spite of that, if things don't happen according to our plan, according to our desire, according to our thought process, then we have to learn this art of acceptance. Because you cannot change the world, you cannot change situation, you cannot change people around you. Only if we learn how to accept things, we can be happy and peaceful. And the fifth thing we spoke about was simplicity, that we should not be duplicitous. Be very simple in our heart. Krishna loves simple people. Krishna consciousness is simple for the simple. So these were some of the tips which we discussed about yesterday to help have a strong mental and emotional setup. So all these three things make our trunk strong. So this was till yesterday a recap. Now we'll proceed further today. Did those who didn't come, did you all get some idea? I mean, we are speaking
Very fast.
2 hours ka thing. Yesterday we are telling you in 10 minutes.
Okay. Right. So, taking the analogy of the tree a little further, so the roots represent our inner ecosystem, right? What's happening in the inner self. The trunk represents our visible lifestyle, and the crown, the tree is especially made by nature, not just for the roots and the trunk. It is made for what? For the crown, right? That is what the crown is, what the tree is meant to be living for. What are the crown? When we were coming, we were driving to this place, we saw the crown of hazelnuts, the crown of blueberries, the crown of, you know, different types of trees. We saw the fruit bearing trees. So the tree is meant for what? For giving. That means what we are giving out to the world is our crown. What is our net contribution? What is it that we have been taking from society? As you know, it's said in the Srimad Bhagavatam and other scriptures that when we are born, we are indebted to many things. There's a beautiful sloka which says, Devarshi Bhuta Pranam Tanam Naam Kinkaron Rini Charajam Sarvat Manayam Sharanam Sharanyam Tatamukunda Parihartha Kartam. Right? So as soon as we are born in this world, automatically our birth itself makes us bring us to the level of being indebted. Right? So Devarshi Bhutapta, right? We are indebted to the Devas, the demigods, right? All the rain and the sun, the air, everything is controlled by whom? By the demigods. The Pancha Mahabhuta is controlled by the demigods, right? So we are indebted to them, indebted to the rishis, right? And Narad Rishi, Vyasdev Rishi, so many rishis, right? We are indebted to the normal living entities in this world. The farmer who makes crops for us, the cow who gives milk to us, to so many bhutas. Bhutas means not ghost. The bhuta is a Sanskrit that doesn't mean for ghost. Ghost means the living entities, right? So bhuta the nidanam, normal people, right? So we are indebted to many people, right? However, the purpose of Krishna consciousness is to make us understand that when we please Krishna, one of Krishna's beautiful name is Sharanam Sharanyam. Sharanam Sharanyam. Why? Because he is the only person who is worthy of complete surrender. Right? So therefore, the crown is how we are giving back to those whom we have been indebted to. We are indebted to our parents, to our teachers, to the rishis, right? To our families, to our communities. And for us as devotees, what are we giving back to the mission of Prabhupada? Right? All of us have taken so much from the world, so much from society, and we have learned the goal of life. Most of us who, before coming to Krishna consciousness, were really, I mean, most of us came here to America for having, some financial growth, right? We wanted to have a more comfortable lifestyle. We came here, but we did not know the goal of life, right? Even though we were what we call as Indians or Hindus or whatever we call ourselves, right? But who taught us the goal of life? Srila Prabhupada taught us the goal of life. And how much you can be indebted to a person who tells you, what are you here living in this world for? Right? As it's said by a philosopher, the two most important things in our life, important dates are the day when you are born and then you understand why you are born. Right? When you understand these two things, then your life is successful. So we celebrate the day when we are born, but actually the day when we actually realize the purpose of our life is the most important. And that was taught to us by Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, so how much we are able to give back, and that comes from one particular quality in our heart, which is called as gratitude. Right? When we live a life of gratitude, as the Christians sometimes say, count your blessings. When we really understand that we've been blessed in so many numerous ways, it's now my turn to give back, right? So the crown, whether it is big or small, ultimately it means we are giving back. It also means what we give back to our families. Hmm? Talking about more practical terms, what we give to our children, right? All parents want to give something to their children. As they grow, they want to leave back some property, some money, right? Some car, some house, whatever, right? But that may be fine. That may be okay. That is something normal. But what want to give back to our children is what? A very good example. A very good example, a good lifestyle. Give them values and give them some important legacy to live by, right? So that want to give back. So that is what we give to our children. Then we have our temples, right? Each one, like we've been traveling around to US the last 1 month. We've been seeing how wonderfully most places we go, each and every member of the community is involved in some practical service to the temple. Most devotees are happy leading what we call as a temple centric life, right? That means your heart is connected. You are living in your own homes, but you feel, oh, I'm a devotee of, you know, such Nitya Satyana temple. So you are want to offer some. So each one is offering some service. Like I think you said that every Sunday you have this cooking, right? The 6 groups are there and they keep cooking on every Sunday and feast. So everyone is doing some service. So the essential part of seva, in a nutshell, what we give is what? What is our seva? Therefore, there are beautiful words which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given. There is a devotee in when a Mahaprabhu's devotees would come from different places and they would stay in Jagannath Puri for 4 months, right? And then when they were going back, this is probably the third year of the visit of the devotees. They would come from Adi Saptagram, from Navadip Dham, from Sri Khanda, various places. And this devotee was coming from Hudinagram, right? When he was going back, he said, my dear Lord, we are going back. We had such a wonderful time with you for 4 months. Rath Yatra was there, Harinam was there, so much of association Mahaprabhu was there, Prasad of Jagannath Swami was there, Darshan was there. But now we are going back. So please tell me what is my real kartavya and what is my real dharma now. So Mahaprabhu said a beautiful words. Prabhu kahe, Prabhu kahe, वैष्णव सेवा नाम संकीर्तन दुई कर शीघ्र पावे Sri Krishna Charan. Right? So the Lord is giving us a beautiful formula here. Prabhu kahe. So we can repeat this. This is a very nice words. If you can, take this to your heart. So Prabhu kahe.
Prabhu kahe,
No, no, no.
Vaishnav.
Sorry. Yeah. Prabhu kahe.
प्रभु कहे वैष्णव
वैष्णव सेवा नाम संकीर्तन
वैष्णव सेवा नाम संकीर्तन
दुई कर
दुई कर
शीघ्र पावे
शीघ्र पावे
Sri Krishna Charan.
श्री कृष्ण चरण.
Right? How heartening is this verse? This gives us an immediate insight as to how we can achieve the goal of life. Right? Sri Krishna Charan. Right? What are two things Mahaprabhu was saying? Nam Sankirtan, which we just did just now. Do it more and more frequently. Second is Vaishnava Seva. That means the crown also represents how much seva we are rendering to the mission and to the. Now we can serve Krishna, but the best way to serve Krishna is not so much directly. Hmm? Krishna says, Mad Bhakta Puja Vedika. Right? Rather than serving me directly, you serve my devotees, right? So the crown represents how much we are serving. Therefore, this important aspect of our life is dependent on how much we create what is called as seva bhav. Seva bhav, the attitude of being servant. That means putting the sloka Jivara Swarup Hoy Krishnara Nityadas into actual action. Right? How is that? By creating the attitude of not being enjoyers. The materialist is what about doing? This is a materialist. And what does he do? He just takes and takes and takes and takes and takes, right? Right? And what he gives out? What he gives out? He gives out
Negative.
negativity. He pollutes the world by his presence, right? The demonic people they give out, but they pollute the world. And the negative, the simple activities. But what does the devotee do? He takes from the roots and the trunk and he gives out. Imagine the crown of people like Madhavacharya. Like upstairs is a nice temple of these devotees who stay in this house.
Shrees.
There's a Sri Sampradaya deities also are there, right? Imagine the contribution of people like Ramanujacharya. right? What is their crown? Even after 1000 years, we are remembering Ramanacharya, we are remembering Madhvacharya, right? We are remembering Tukaram Maharaj. Hmm? So we are remembering people like Prabhupada. Their crown is so powerful that they create legacy for thousands of years, right? So the best way to really have a life of fulfillment is to assist such people who have been pioneers in making the world a better place. We cannot become Prabhupada. There's only one Prabhupada, right? But we can all do what? We can play a role of assisting Prabhupada in doing the work which he has started. And therefore, that will be our lasting contribution to the mission of Prabhupada, right? That is called as the crown.
So,
So we'll take this. This is like a summation slide. So we have roots, we have trunk, and we have the crown. The roots take nourishment, that nourishment of the roots through all spiritual practices and through sadhana bhakti. What does it do? It is creates a sense of spiritual well-being. Right? The trunk is our supportive lifestyle, and that is strong. It will make us emotionally and physically and socially strong. Again, right? And if our crown is our contribution, that is the proof that we are involved in some good missionary work. Every ISKCON devotee is a small missionary because he has a mission, to make the world Krishna conscious.
so this Prabhupada always said, when you take responsibility, what happens? You grow, isn't it? As children, we are on the Annamai platform. We are just eating, and if you even after you grow up, you are just on the. Then you become a teenager, you are on my platform, you are grown up, you are still on my platform. Then how will it look? Abnormal. Will not look normal. Growth. Without growth, there cannot be any progress. Take up responsibilities on behalf of automatically becomes strong, our trunk automatically becomes we are trying to give out to people and take care. How long we will just keep on taking? When we are new devotees, we are on the receiving end. In India, we have a bank which is called Dena Bank. Hmm? But we all are in the Lena Bank. We want to do that. But sometimes we should open an account in the Dena Bank also. Why? Because it will multiply our investments manifold. And that's why we said the contribution could be small or big. Everybody will say, oh, we all cannot be Prabhupada, right? But everybody cannot be Hanuman, but we can still be a squirrel. Can we not? Did Ram dismiss the squirrel? No, Ram appreciated even the contribution of the squirrel. So all of us have some talents, some skills, some propensities which we can use. So some of us might be good singers, like George Harrison. He was a great singer, and Prabhupada told him, "You sing the holy name, and that's the way you can preach." Some people, Yamuna Mataji was a great cook, right? And she wrote cookbooks and she preached through cooking. There are some people who are great at deity worship, so they preached through deity worship. And some stalwarts we have even today amongst us. In the past, there were so many, and we have still today people like Vaishnavas like Vaishnavi Maharaj is there. How much book distribution they can do, right? Standing, they can just by their desire flood the place with so many books. So, in whatever way we can help, we should offer ourselves. And in fact, some wise person said that we should feel restless if we do not have a tangible service to do for the mission. Hmm? Means we need to ask ourselves that what is my service to the mission? Not just going attending programs and having prasad and coming back and chanting my 16 rounds and following four regulative principles. That is the bare minimum which we can do. But we always have a sincere person always has what? A desire to do something more. Those come in the category of duty. But what is love? Love beyond duty is real love. Like a mother, she just doesn't do what is her duty. She does even beyond her duty. So same way we should feel so excited about what we have got that we want to share. Materialists don't want to share, they are very selfish and only they want to progress. They don't want others to progress. Only they want to progress. But devotees understand that the more others progress, we will progress. Right? We have so many Sunday fun schools and all. Why do we have one parent was sharing that my child won't listen to me? So I call other children home and try to teach them Krishna consciousness. So if they become Krishna conscious, they are my child's friend, then automatically my child will also be helped. It's like the story of the farmer, right? This farmer of a village got the national award for having the best crop. So when you get an award, people will come and interview you. So what's the secret of your coming getting this award? So he said, because the secret is an open secret. I get the best quality seeds and I distribute it to my neighboring fields. So they said, then they all will come first. So he said, but the pollination from their farm is going to come into my farm. So if I give them cheap seeds, then that cheap pollen will come and my products will not grow well. But I have understood that if I share what I have got, the best, then even I become the best. Right? So we all want to become a best version of ourselves, isn't it? We want to become best version. So that's why we want to contribute to whatever capacity, and that's the only way any congregation can grow. Prabhupada could have sat in Vrindavan and been happy, satisfied. His roots were very strong. Everywhere he was comfortably seated. Why did he come at that ripe old age and come and do all this? Because he wanted to set an example, right? We can learn from his example. Not that he did it to set an example, but he was so restless to give Krishna consciousness to the whole world, and that's how it grew from one center to so many centers. So in every center, if we all take it up upon ourselves that how can we help to multiply, that's what bhakti vrikshas are meant for, isn't it? Like I get something, then I invite few families, I make them friends of Lord Krishna, then they will invite other people, they will do, and that's how the pollination takes place, the growth takes place, right? So now, can we request everybody to do one small exercise? You need to stand for that. Is that okay? Can we stand up for a minute? I don't know, people behind can see. I am putting an image on the screen, and you need to stand in this pose. This is called the Hiranyakashipu pose. So you need to stand like this. First understand the rule. Come down, I will fall down. No, he might be able to. Yeah, if you're comfortable now. So the rule is that stand like this, and if you are not able to, till you are able to stand. Once you are wavering or your leg goes down, please sit down. We want to see who's the winner, who's able to stand like this for the longest amount of time. Is that okay? Your time starts now. If you are not, once you waver, then please sit down. Those who are not able to, please sit down. Wow. Those who are, don't make them laugh. Those who are standing, very good. Okay. Great. You all have passed 1 minute. Don't leave your steps. That was part one of the exercise. Now part two of the exercise is close your eyes and stand like this. And if you are not able to, sit down. As and when you are not able to, sit down. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. No cheating. Wow. Give them a big hand. Three of them. It was okay, na? Not too much of a strain. So what is any purpose on this exercise? Any purport? Focus, okay. Balance. Balance, right? It's very difficult to stand on one leg and put your hands up also and stand. Still, you may be able to do. What was the lesson by closing your eyes? Vision. If you don't have a vision of what I want to do in life, when eyes are open, still you are able to manage. But if I don't have a proper vision of my life, how I want to take my life ahead, how do I want to plan my life, then it becomes difficult to balance. Because balance is the key word, especially any talk you give. In we all majority in any congregation will be what? Sannyasis, brahmacharis, grihasthas. The biggest challenge for grihasthas is what? How to balance, right? And why balance is so important? Because only anything which is in balance is good. Nature also teaches us this, right? We said a balanced diet is the secret of good health, not unbalanced diet, right? A weather, if it is too cold, is it great? You may love snow. Hey, I want to be in snow. I want to be. But when it starts, it's hell to be in snow, right? You all know better than we know. And if it is hot, when it is winter, we are waiting for heat. And when it's hot, come to India, you will get a very. When we come to the US, we come in the fridge. And then when we open the door and go out to the airport in India, it's a oven. At the same time, temperatures are same, 40, but one is 40 centigrade and one is 40 Fahrenheit. It's the same thing, no difference. So, balance in climatic balance makes us feel what? Comfortable. We feel very comfortable in life. People move residences because of that. So many of our friends have shifted from Detroit. They come to Florida. They'll come to more warmer places like Dallas, Houston. They come. Why? Because life becomes very uncomfortable when it is out of balance. If financial is a very important part of Grihastha's life, if there is no proper balance between earning, saving, and spending, then life goes completely out of balance. That means if there's no financial planning in our life, if you are earning, right, but you don't spend, what are you? Miser. And if your the spending is disproportionate to your earning, then what are you? Spendthrift, right? In the process, you never land up saving, and when emergencies come, you're like, so many years you worked, what did you do? You didn't save anything, you just kept on spending. And then in Gujarati we have a proverb, aag lage to kuo khode. Like when there is fire, that time you start digging the well, but if pre-planned person will have a well ready, that if anything is there, then you will try to do some management. So again, balance between all these three things makes life very comfortable, right? And balance between work, sleep, and recreation. We said all work and no play makes Jack a dull work. So some people are workaholics, they can work, they are workaholics. And there are some people who are like chill people. Like it'll happen. Krishna, he's controlling us, but without you doing what Krishna is going to do, Don't put the whole blame on Krishna or the onus on Krishna. Krishna only helps those who help themselves, right? So, such a beautiful picture this is, that everything, even nature, is teaching us that balanced life is a only comfortable life. So, we are seeing over here that if you focus, okay, 1 minute, sorry. Okay. So if you focus only on your roots, there are some devotees who will, like my sadhana. The most important part is what? Sadhana. Then what happens? If you do not focus on your trunk or on your crown, then what happens? You become hard hearted sometimes, right? If a person is only focusing on sadhana, and your family members or some co devotees will say, Prabhu, I am feeling sick. Oh, come on, yeah, you're not the body. Chant and everything will be, just chant Hare Krishna, everything will be sorted out. Is it on one level that's true, but are we on that level? We are not, right? Right now we are on a different level. So we cannot try to do like this. Especially this happens with brahmacharis who move into the grihastha ashram because they've been trained. Brahmachari life is a life of tapasya, strictness, right? Grihastha life is more about moderation. But brahmacharis have to be strict like that. If they will also be like this, then they will never be able to remain brahmacharis. Hmm? But when they shift to grihastha ashram, unless they are trained properly, they can ruin their married life. For example, one boy was getting married and he phoned us and he said, Prabhu, can you please give us your blessings? We said, for what? He said, oh, I'm getting married, Prabhu. Can you bless me to become a grihastha sannyasi? And we are wondering in which shastra, which verse this particular term comes, grihastha sannyasi. So if our fundas are only not clear, then what does it mean? It's not that grihasthas are not going to do their sadhana, hmm? But it's not that you can live like a brahmachari after becoming a grihastha also. Like, oh, if I butter fire concept and all that we have learned as the brahmacharis, all that goes into our head. Too much of over philosophizing, as we say, then we become very hard hearted. We had one devotee, the child would come and say, Papa, give me ball and bat. Say, no. Jiva Goswami played only with Krishna Balram. We cannot give you ball and bat. He said, Papa, all my friends have ball and bat. I want to play cricket. No means no. He didn't give him ball and bat because he thought, okay, that is Maya. You should be a pure devotee, like I am. That's what he thought. Till date, the child has grown up and all, but he's still like he's unhappy because the basic normal pleasures of life his father did not give him. Why? Because he suddenly became. He thought I have become spiritual means because I'm a devotee father, I should be like this. Some horns come on the head or something. I'm a devotee husband, I should be different. I'm a devotee, but that doesn't mean that you forget that we are human beings and we have to be what Dhanurdhan Maharaj said. We should be normal. It's not wrong to be normal. Okay. So only focusing on roots can make us hard-hearted. Now, compared to that, if you only focus on trunk, that we must focus on the trunk, my family, my friends, partying, socializing, and just spending time doing all that. Sadhana, to, ठीक है ना? I can do in the night, I can chant my rounds in the night, or I can do later on. And we do not focus at all on that, and just we keep doing. Then what do we become? Very selfish and self-centered person. And sometimes people take things out of context. Like one place where we gave a seminar, some very nice devotees used to come over there. Suddenly we saw that one Prabhuji who was very active in the temple, he stopped coming to the temple when devotees were visiting and Sunday so sorry, we asked the temple president that where is this Falafala devotee. So said, Hare Prabhu, what to tell you? He said Dwarkadhish Prabhu and Vishakha Mataji in the seminar said that we have to take care of our family. But that's all he heard. That's all he understood out of the whole seminar. And he said, "Now I don't want to do any service. I don't want to do any this thing. But my family, my family, my family." So sometimes what we want to do, we hear only that, and we'll end up doing only that, right? But again, what happens if you give focus on that? What happens? You become sentimental. You do not try to understand the right balance between all of that. And third thing is if you focus only on the crown, means I have to become a preacher. I have to give out to society, I have to do this, I have to do that, and I have no time for my family. My children are growing up, and you ask, Prabhuji, which class your child is in? Uh, which class our child is in? You don't even know which class your child is in, Huh? Or sometimes you say he's in second, say that was 2 years back, now he's in fourth, You are disoriented with the whole thing. And we are busy doing things for other people, going outward, that we land up what? Neglecting our prescribed duties. The wife will say that I have to go to temple today, Prabhuji. You eat whatever is there in the fridge. But why? No, today is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's appearance day. I have to go and make bhoga in the temple. They will, what about this Bhaktivinoda? What about our prasad, No, that you manage. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I have to go and cook over there. So we become completely imbalanced in what we are trying to do, isn't it? So what happens if you keep focusing only on the crown? You will feel some sort of unfulfilled in your life. You will feel empty from within. That I'm doing. You reach on such a artificial platform that nature there is no foundation only. Huh? Yeah, the trunk becomes very hollow from within. You are not able to balance out anything. So when we understand that which of the three is more important, all, all of them, not even one little more or little less. If the whole purpose of doing this is to bring to our consciousness that when you talk about the root, you feel, root is important. When you talk about trunk, trunk. No, but all are how important? Equally important. 33, 33, 33. Right? Not even like 25, 30, 35, 40. Absolutely equally important. All of them are. We have how much more time?
We have to eat 8:50.
But what's the time now?
7:45.
Okay. So you all have your mobiles with you. So we want you to do another exercise. No standing up, don't worry. But you have to mark yourself. You have to give marks to yourself. We will ask you, we will go through a checklist. A root check, a trunk check, and a crown check. Is that okay? We have time for that? Yeah. You don't have to show this to anybody, so don't worry, give honest answers. Sometimes if you have to, don't give idealistic answers. Give honest answers. Is that okay?
Prabhu, you have to take your mobile. So this is called as self-assessment, correct? So oftentimes we hear talks and classes and seminars, and the purpose of this is that we do not allow that knowledge to remain only on our head, but see it more in a in a more tangible way in front of our eyes. And since our brains are conditioned to look at numbers, so we'll put our numbers to our roots and trunk, and we'll tell you how to do it. So let's do a root check. Everyone has understood what the roots are, right? So the least is 0, the max is of course 10, right? And you have to mark yourself anything between 0 and 10. As she said, just we spend 2 seconds on being introspective, right? And get the accurate number as much as possible and put it down. So question number 1 for root check, right? How good am I at managing my temptations when I am in a private situation? Privacy means nobody is looking, nobody is seeing. You are all by yourself. And temptations strike our minds. How good are we at managing our temptations?
What is the scale, Prabhu?
0 to 10.
0 to 10.
Second question is, we spoke about integrity. Integrity means to what extent am I able to profess,
Walk my talk.
yeah, walk my talk, profess and represent myself in following the ideals which I hold sacred. That is called as integrity, right?
How much will I am able to walk my talk?
So we know the standards which are expected of us. How much in general am I able to live by those standards and represent myself as a devotee of Krishna in my life? Mark yourself from 0 to 10. The standards are, we know the standards. How much am I able to come close to the standards? The third thing is regarding our sadhana. The sadhana, of course, is, as we said, it is not only just chanting. Please always never make a mistake of looking at it in a narrow way. Right? Sadhana means all practices which we perform to strengthen our roots of our consciousness, the Bhaktivedanta beach. Especially in a more defined way, it is chanting, reading, associating, and of course, hearing, right? More specifically. But in general, what we do to strengthen our consciousness is called as sadhana. So, how would you rate your sadhana? Please rate from 0 to 10. How good is your sadhana?
If you want, you can give the subcategory of these four things what we said: chanting, reading,
A, B, C, D. A,
hearing.
rate yourself on chanting.
Chanting, reading, hearing, and associating. So that was the root check. So do I feel spiritually nourished and connected? Am I feeling spiritually nourished? Is the fourth question. Am I feeling spiritually nourished? So if yes, then how can I maintain that state of being that? And if no, then where have I been negligent and what can I do to nourish myself spiritually? You could write down these questions, and this you may not be able to immediately answer.
Yeah. So the last question we are keeping for
Open
devotees as something to do
homework.
as assignment at home. Having understood the basic paradigms we are talking about, depending on what numbers you are given to yourself, then how to improve that particular steps you can write down on your own.
Is that okay? Should we go to the next?
So you are assessing your own roots. This, you can imagine how powerful the exercise can be if you do it properly. You are assessing your existence, right? Like you have your blood test. How is your cholesterol? How is your sugar? How is your blood pressure, etc.? You're assessing your health. We are assessing our existence, right? Through these simple questions. We'll talk about the trunk. So trunk was talking about our lifestyle, how strong we are on the physical platform, emotional platform, mental platform, and of course our social lifetime, social, right? So talking about physical, there are three parts of physical health. One was diet. Second was second was sleep, and third was
Exercise.
right.
So on
So
all those three, you have to mark yourself.
yeah, mark yourself. How good are your dietary habits? I hope it is not zero, completely haywire. How good do you think are your dietary habits? What you eat, how much you eat, when you eat, etc. All that. 0 to 10.
Your sleep profile.
How is your sleep? How would you judge your sleep, your regulation of sleep, quantity, quality, etc.? All that. 0 to 10.
And same thing, exercise.
There are some
This
devotees who
could be
got,
zero.
yeah, some devotees got 0. Prabhuji, I'm sorry, I go to office by car, come back from office from by car, come home, and then just do my japa and reading, etc., etc., whatever. But my completely sedentary, no exercise at all, right? That would be undesirable. And I don't think anyone will be 10 also, but somewhere in between, of course, right? So this is your
Physical.
physical side. Now regarding our relationships, how we talk about family, how congenial are your relationships within the family? And regarding social life, how good are you, or how good am I at maintaining relationships with my peer devotees, fellow devotees in the community? Is it okay? Everyone's writing? Fine.
And the third was emotional. So I have to mark myself from 0 to 10. How do I rate my emotional, uh, how emotionally labile? Like how strong or how emotionally labile I am from 0 to 10. If I am like 2, this thing, then 0. But if I'm able to hold my, yeah, stable in my emotions, I do not react. I take my time to think. I respond, but I don't react. There's a difference between the two words, the responding and reacting. So how good at am I at all these things? 0 to 10. Okay. Now those were the marks you gave here. Again the same thing, that do I feel physically and emotionally nourished? If yes, then I can go on having the type of relations I have with people and everything. And if no, then I have to find out why. And I have to fill my physical and emotional life like an emptied water pitcher. If the tank gets empty, we have to fill it, right? So if I am not feeling emotionally happy and satisfied and fulfilled, then what can I do to be able to do these? And after checking all this, if I am still not able to balance out my life in this trunk aspect, then I have to seek advice from friends if needed. Every community has seniors, they have friends whom they can discuss with and take advice from. If I'm not able to self analyze and upgrade my, you know, self in this aspect, then I can always take help. Taking help is a sign of strength and humility. I could feel I am perfect, I don't need. But others will say, how? I don't understand how you are perfect. But if I am taking help, then that's good. We want to improve. Okay?
Many devotees have done this, talking out about these things with their own spouses. Regarding the crown check, how satisfied am I at the contributions I make to the mission of Srila Prabhupada?
0 to 10. Okay? So, am I thinking and acting for welfare of others, or has my world shrunk to only I, me, and mine? And we need to expand our consciousness and try to act for benefit of others in a way that we may feel qualified at the moment. Right now, what I can do, like Sham Sundar Prabhu's daughter Saraswati was 2 years old, and she would go around and tell people, "Hey, do you know Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead?" and run away. And that's all she knew, so that's all she would tell. That's all she was qualified at that time. So we may not be big scholars or Maharathis in whatever services, a big book distributor or something, a big preacher or anything. But at my level, what can I do, right? So I need to think about that and see that is there something more that I can do in this. So this exercise, you know, time to time, if we can, and sometimes it helps to share it with at least one confidant. It could be a house or a friend who can keep a check on us. Otherwise, you don't know where it is, and people who might be close to us, they may be able to remind us that Prabhu, you had promised, you are going to focus on your sadhana, or like, do morning japa at a particular time, or you had committed that I will read on a regular basis, whatever change I'm going to make. Somebody can remind us if they know. But if nobody knows, then it's very easy for us to keep forgetting our resolutions, because resolution and dissolution, we never land up reminding ourselves. Every year we could make new resolutions, but the past ones go into oblivion. So sometimes it may help to discuss that, Prabhu, what do you think? And who knows us better than our close ones? They will say, okay, okay, come on, be realistic, you won't be able to do this. So the whole thing is that if we need to change our thing, we should take baby steps and not take idealistic and hypothetical thing. Like, from today, I'm going to start chanting 32 rounds or 64 rounds I'm going to do, because my route is. Are you going to be able to maintain that? Then take a vow, or every day I'm going to read 2 hours of Bhagavatam, come what may. Then my sleep is also, I'm still trying to read Bhagavatam. My health is
she
going
mentioned,
bad.
Tungavidya Devi mentioned that she's taken a resolution for this year that she will read one shloka of Bhagavatam every day.
So that is realistic, that is doable, right? So be realistic, and baby steps are good. Because what does Krishna want to see? He wants to see your endeavor, at least you are picking up your leg or no. If we pick up a leg, then we take one step towards Krishna, Krishna takes one step towards us. But his step is Trivikram step, Vaman step. Like so big, it could occupy our whole existence. But he wants to see that at least you want to do something, or you just want to, now so much so I'm doing now, what more than this I can do. I'm like so satisfied in my life, but I don't have to be satisfied with that. Satisfaction we spoke about yesterday is of a different level. We should always want to grow. You cannot be satisfied with growth. Growth is a ongoing process, right? So here we are not going into details, just look at the images over here. Okay, look at this. If the roots are strong, so deep and so strong, but outside it is like a weakling, then how does this picture look? Quite abnormal. You just see it's a strong, oversized root, but the weak crown and weak trunk, then it looks abnormal. Now, if you look at this tree also, right? Oversized trunk, but weak smile. Yeah. As we said, in the roots it is philosophical overdosing, spiritual practices not evolving into healthy worldly relationships with weak EQ. We don't have a good emotional quotient, so it leads to hard-heartedness and dry renunciation. If you see this oversized trunk, then what would be the symptoms of that? Sentimental approach to spirituality, taking spiritual practices cheaply and superficially. We don't take it seriously. And it lacks philosophical convictions and may be swayed by anything that comes in life, any other philosophy or whatever. So look how the picture looks. And if you have a oversized crown, and the trunk is so small, and the roots might be like this, so this means overly focused on external performances, public opinions, trends and missionary demands, significant neglect of personal close relations, and pursuance of regulated spiritual practice. I'm so busy doing service that no time for family, and sadhana comes last. I had a board meeting and a fundraising meeting, and I had gone out for book distribution whole day. I reached home at 11, and okay, now I should pick up my bead bag. I have to chant. I will chant, but at that time. The last priority is given to sadhana, right? So then also it becomes funny like this, right? Taking up more responsibility without backing it up with better relations and inner spiritual growth. So likely to feel respected, appreciated, recognized outside, you will feel lonely, hollow inside family and personal life. You will not feel the sense of fulfillment. So, imbalanced approach, in spite of good intentions, we might have good intentions, great intentions. We want to help the mission, we want to do things for the family, we want to do sadhana. But if there is not proper this thing, how will you be able to judge that? How will you be able to judge that? Because somewhere you will feel something is lacking. You are not happy, you are not feeling productive, you are not feeling fulfilled somewhere. And who's the best preacher? Who's the best preacher? Happy devotee. And happiness is not something which we can fake. People are, we are miserable inside and we are still trying to show that I'm happy. Happiness is something which it comes out. It shows the face is the index of the mind. Your face and your family's face. Your face might be like this and family is all. Everybody's face is the index of the mind. Right? So we have to understand this, that the best way you can judge yourself is you can fake it to the whole world. But from within our heart, some feelings we will get that I'm quite fulfilled. I'm feeling very balanced. I'm doing everything. At least I'm struggling to do. Nobody can say that I'm doing perfectly everything. But at least I'm struggling to try to keep a balance. Sometimes this. So that's why people say that, in the outside world there are jewelers, there are jugglers are there in the circus and all. But what are we? We are strugglers. We are very happy. We don't want to be smugglers. We don't want to be. We are strugglers. And as long as we are struggling, it means we are alive. If we struggle, we are alive. If we are not struggling, means who doesn't struggle?
Dead
Dead
body.
body. If we are dead, dead body never struggles. But till we are alive, we struggle. Right? So that is a proof. Let us become peaceful and happy from within by having a proper balance of all these three.
So last two, three slides only. So this is our long-term vision for sustainable life, right? The 3S formula is there, right? S for sadhana, S for sadachar, and S for seva. So strong roots means good sadhana, strong trunk means proper sadachar, and strong crown means seva. So let us embrace, my dear devotees, let us embrace these three beautiful words. This is our life in three words. It is golden words. It is golden words, and therefore let us put maximum emphasis. We work on so many things to develop, right? We work on our offices work hard. Let us work on these three things, because if we take these three things to heart, we will know that it is not just a formula for immediate success. It is a long-term thing. Shreyas and prayas. This is Shreyas. This is absolutely long-term. Let not these three words slip away from our consciousness. And therefore, as we said, the three things are there, and the last slide will show us even this more clearly what we're talking about. The green is the crown, the orange is the root, and the trunk is of course sadachar. And only when three things are there, then Krishna manifest. You can see the center is very clear. We want to live a Krishna-centered life, and when these three things happen properly, Krishna is so pleased with the devotee that he is able to do his duties in this world also, plus he's doing his Krishna consciousness work properly also, right? That means he is working on both the things. Our material and spiritual both are being nicely balanced. And Krishna seeing that is so satisfied that living in this difficult world in Kali Yuga, yet my dear devotee is able to do so much, right? And that practically brings a lot of joy in the heart of Krishna. Then what has happened when Krishna is happy? Krishna will start manifesting in our heart. And let us remember the nice pastime of Gundisha Marjanam, right? That when we live this life, then the Hridaya Sivasan gets cleansed up. Mahaprabhu is showing that how we can cleanse the seat where Jagannath was going to sit, right? Sarvastam Sanimisto is there, Krishna is in our heart. But when we do these three things properly, then Krishna manifests in the Sivasan of our heart. And when we chant Krishna's name, right, we can feel Krishna's presence. When we look at the deities of Krishna, we will be able to see Krishna not just as stone, but make feel Krishna more. His presence will be felt in his Archavigra avatar. When we read the Srimad Bhagavatam, the holy scriptures, we will be able to get more meaning of what is being spoken. Then Krishna will manifest in wonderful ways in our life. Correct? So if we want to be, and ultimately we want to be conscious of Krishna. Krishna conscious means to be conscious of Krishna. Hmm? So these three things will make us more conscious of Krishna in whatever we are doing. Cooking, cleaning, taking care of our families, doing our jobs, doing our gardening, whatever we are doing, we will be able to see Krishna in that, right? And that is the goal of life.
So when Krishna is the center, then all these three things happen, and vice versa. When all these three things are there, Krishna remains the center. That's why it's a equilateral triangle. The best structure is a equilateral triangle. That's why we said 33.33 each one. Not more, not less. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yeah, life is not, it's a very dynamic thing. So we have to keep working on it.
So we can take questions or any comments, any clarifications. Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Hare Krishna. So, before coming in contact with the devotional community, like what is the purpose of life? A good answer would be to serve people, to serve the society. That was good. Coming to the devotional community, the purpose of life is to develop Krishna praying, and and I understand that. And I was thinking, is there a better perspective of reconciling these two things, where these two thought processes like come together? Just wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah. See, when we say serving Krishna, where is Krishna? Krishna is everywhere. He's in the heart of all living entities, right? So serving Krishna is not a very narrow concept. Service to all, we may specifically say serving the Vaishnavas is serving Krishna. But actually, since Krishna is manifests in the heart of everyone, serving humanity alone, serving living entities is actually highest Krishna consciousness. When Prabhupada was having a small slug moving around, he told one of his servants, "You chant Hare Krishna for this." Hmm? Or a small mosquito in his mosquito net. He said, "Don't kill it. Take it out and throw it out in the wind." So when a person becomes Krishna conscious, that means he wants to serve everyone, because becomes Samadarshina. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavyastini Surya Sapakecha Pandita Samadarshina. That is this, when we become Samadarshina, that is the highest proof of we being able to perceive Krishna in all living entities. That is a good synthesis of this. Okay. Very well.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for the nice presentation. Quite instructive, and in a very simple manner. It is concepts were brought out. The exercise that we did second, all those reflective questions, I was struggling with my scoring. So is it helpful to get others' opinion on those questions, like how, especially with regards to the crown or the trunk aspects, right? It is my lack of self-awareness. Like, how do I show up? Um, is it a good exercise to pursue?
Sure. Whatever helps us to come to a more accurate number, more accurate, right? Uh, we may overestimate or we may underestimate. It's possible. Both sides is possible, right? Uh, for whatever reasons, we may say, no, 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 I'm very good at this, or our sense of uh, lack of awareness may put ourselves lower than what actually we are. We may be better doing good. So if somebody is a trustworthy friend, hmm, as he said, could be spouse or could be a temple president or could be our fellow devotees, could be our Bhaktivedanta leader who knows him more closely. So some questions can be sat together and discussed with somebody else. Hmm. But we definitely want to arrive at the closest number possible. So a good discussion. See, when we talk of Priti Lakshanam, we say Bhukti Bhujayate Chaiva, right? Six sections are there, right? What is that? Dadati Pratiganati, Goyamakati Prichati. This discussion is Goyamakati Prichati. And oftentimes we go to devotees' houses, we have nice prasadam, we have nice kirtan, and all that is nice, wonderful, right? But sometimes we may not really take one step further and deepening a relationship. When you say, Prabhu, I want to discuss something wonderful. I think you are a very mature devotee, very advanced devotee, and you can probably understand me better. Can I open my heart and speak to you a few things? Because we will be able to keep in confidence. But I think I need your advice on this. So that is very deep level of friendship. And two of us and ISKCON sannyasis were together. They are initially spiritual masters. And one of the disciples asked them, Maharaj, when you are together with your godbrother, what do you discuss? So the Swami said, we had soul searching discussions for the last 5 hours because they were together for 5 hours. So what do you do discuss? Soul searching discussion. So at least some soul searching discussion which could be there. Uh, it is if it is with the spouse, it is best because the spouse will never give you more mark than this. They will not give you a flattering saying, Prabhu, you are very good, you should get 8 on this. You say, no, no, you get only 4 on this. Right.
But the whole purpose of the exercise is not to feel depressed or dejected that I'm so bad at things and all. It's just a awareness, this thing, that in our fast life we don't get time to stop and even think about these things. Anything new we spoke in the whole thing? Nothing new. But just by categorizing it, it brings it more to the surface. That how should I analyze certain categories, division, subdivision, aspects like that. So it is simply a very simple thing. So sometimes we feel very dejected. Oh, I am so horrible. I'm only 2 marks on this, 3 marks on this. Nothing is above 5. No, it's not for that. If it is, then we move ahead and not even overrating ourselves that I am perfect. We might be thinking when we are in our on our own. What do you call that? On a mental platform, we are on our own track, we feel that I'm perfect, I don't. But when you analyze like this, you actually come to know that I am not. There's so many areas I need to work on, right? So either way, both ways it helps.
Because something which we Vaishnavas, one healthy practice which almost all religious movements promote, all religious movements, all religious institutions promote, which we sometimes don't do to the extent we should. That is called as introspection. So today we are doing introspection in a group, and what we're talking about is doing introspection in to myself. But irrespective, we need in the second chapter, if you remember, Prabhupada writes that the devotee is a introspective stage. What is that? What is that particular
What is
verse
that?
is there? Yani Sarva Bhutani, right? There he says The devotee is a introspective sage, and that is so beautiful because it doesn't feature in the so much in the verse, right? But Prabhupada sees beyond the verse. He sees the intention of what Krishna is saying, right? So he calls devotees as being introspective, and this is what we're doing today is introspection.
And all sorts of discussions in our life are there. There are festivals, then we celebrate festival, and there are Leela classes, which are very good to hear. Ram Navami, you'll hear about Ramayan, and Janmashtami, you'll hear about Krishna, Radhashtami. So those are known as Leela classes, which are there for us to relish, which is our ultimate goal of life. We need to reach there. But in the interim period, we also time to time need to have Sadachar classes to be able to analyze and to be able to relish the Leela classes, right? So all the time we cannot talk about because but we devotees usually like to hear Leela classes. Why? Because how nicely Trinavarta was killed, but it doesn't put any pressure on me to change. Oh, Jatayu came and this happened, and very nice Mahabharat war was fought. But that's okay, that's at their level. Very nice. Well, love to hear those class. Krishna went for, Gocharan Leela. Very nice, he went to herd cows, and the dust was raised, and the sun was like this, and the moon was there, and gopis were waiting. Very nice, but no pressure on me. But sometimes when people don't like to hear these type of classes because they feel little bit pressurized. But unless we do something about it, like we would like to share, when we started making this presentation based on Sachinandan Maharaj's concept, nothing of our own, we said that before we speak, what we did the root check, trunk check, and this, and we realized that is there something we can do which can help us to go better and which can give us more conviction and strength to be able to speak. We can't be hypocrites and speak just like that, right? So then, where we after we analyzed, and one of the aspects which we decided to make a change is we used to obviously devotees chant at home in front of their home deities or altar, whatever. But we have had a temple not very far from our home. But we used to always chant at home. We didn't feel the need. But we're chanting Tulsi Maharani is there, deities are there, whatever. But we said that okay, let us start going to temple to chant. And you won't believe we had that facility, it was temple was close by. The difference which we felt in our japa was tremendous. Tremendous because you are chanting, Prabhupada is there in the temple, Tulsi Maharani is there, deities, darshan is closed till it opens, but deities are there, the Goswamis are there on the pillars over there. Other devotees are sitting and chanting. At home, sometimes, we might be chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. You'll end up going little more. But there's no place, you have to sit properly only and chant. So he said, okay, this concept which we had heard long back, but we never thought it important is visible sadhana. Visible. Not to show off to people, hey, look, I'm chanting in the temple. No. But somebody can observe you and correct you or whatever, in that way, visibly. Because when you are in public, then you have to maintain some etiquette and try to at least chant properly. So we did our root check and it helped. So same thing we are saying that take some aspect, whatever, wherever we might be weak, we need to focus on it and do it.
Yes.
Prabhuji, I was asked to mark with the family, and what about if some people in the family you are have a very good rapport?
It's on. Put it close to your mouth.
Yeah. So, like in the family, when you were asking to give points, like you have a very good rapport with some people in the family, but some people you just can't see eye to eye, no matter how much you try. It's just the way the nature is, or something, the way that things unfold, and lot of. So, how will we see that where we stand? Like how honest, like how, like what can I fix to do that? How do I mark that?
Yeah. So you're probably giving a probably not a great number to that. Looks like, right? Okay, fine.
I have a difficulty with some people in my family.
Yeah. So no, that's possible.
But that, sorry, everybody has that in their life. We call it Harika Lal or Hariki Lali. Somebody is there in the family.
Who's born as what to teach you tolerance?
Harika Lal or Lali we call it.
Otherwise,
Guru.
how you and I will get purified, Mataji? See, Krishna has brought devotees, or see, Krishna has tailor-made a particular family for us. He's tailor-made a type of devotees for us, a particular type of spouse for us, right? So that is the best for you. That is the best for me. So to navigate away through those difficult relationships with people who are nice and lovey-dovey, to chalo theek hai,
It's
khao
easy.
piyo bacha. It's very easy. But those are the ones which are giving us, what challenging us
Our spiritual
emotionally,
gymnasium.
emotionally challenging us. They are the ones which will actually help us to grow, right? We will need some skills, we will need some traits, we will need better attitudes, we will need some Vaishnava virtues, we will need some additional tools than what we have. We are probably weak, but I don't have that, right? But I will have to probably learn that, earn that, pray for that, right? Create that so that I can actually still have, as we say, the word functional relationship. You may not become very deep and intimate with them and sharing life and all. But at least we can remain. We learn to accept them where they are and still can get along without going into arguments or embarrassments or difficulties and quarrels and all that, right? So we might to learn. So they are the ones with challenges. For example, if you want to create a good muscle, you go to the gym, right? To get good muscle. If you keep on lifting 1 kilo every day, dumbbell, right? What happens to your muscles? Nothing happens to your muscles, right? But if you want to grow what is weak, you have big thighs and big muscles, you have to perform exercise which will strengthen. You have to hold 5 kilos. After 2 weeks, you have to hold 10 kilos, right? So you may have to hold difficult this thing, then you will get your muscles strong, right? So we may be in a difficult zone of relationships, but they are there to strengthen some muscles which are weak for us. So see them in good light. See them in good light. Krishna has placed them there for a purpose. Everything has a purpose. Everything has a purpose. So we need to find out why that purpose is there. And if I really do what we are talking about right now, it will make us grow. And human life is meant for growing. We have to learn our lessons before we go to the kingdom of God. Right? Hare Krishna.
Should we end?
Anybody else would like to ask?
Mike.
Anything you can share about that aspect of introspection as a culture? Like you said, other spiritual institutions or groups have that. Some insights or thoughts as a, I mean, individually, yes, I noted down all the questions you had, and
Yeah.
personally, everybody can do it. But since you mentioned institution, my specific aspect of the question is, as a culture within the institution, is there anything that you can say that can be um, done to?
Some religious cultures stress a particular type of trait to be cultivated among the members, and that is called as solitude. Solitude, right? Though on one hand we stress association, and that is our of paramount importance, but solitude is the time when we really what we learned in that association, right? What we heard. So some people call it quiet time, when you are only with yourself, and that, as we said yesterday, that makes us more in touch with our own selves, right? Sometimes we are not in touch with our own selves because we're too much bahirmukh, too much worried to the outside world. Hmm? So some quiet time, it may not be every day, but periodically, some time should be there when we are all by ourselves. Hmm? That
One
helps.
place we know Vipassana they have. There digital detox also for this quiet time. People from there
Vipassana.
Vipassana, yeah, whatever.
Bharti
So
Goenka.
like a week or 10 days, you go and stay in that place. Nobody talks. They just do their sadhana, whatever their sadhana is, and they just introspect. No mobiles also, so that there's no distraction. You are not allowed a mobile inside that area. So some people come for a week, some people come for 10 days, some people come for a month like that, and they do that exercise. We were just thinking of that.
How about things like journaling and
Journaling. Many
every
many
Ekadashi
people
maybe
like do journaling, affirmations. Affirmations and journaling is definitely a part of introspection.
and reviewing it maybe every
Correct.
month?
Yes. Many people maintain diaries, no? Many people do that. Prabhupada himself maintained diaries, right?
Okay. Hare Krishna.
So we thank you all very much for being a wonderful audience and taking keen interest in the subject. And we all wish you a wonderful Krishna consciousness ahead. Hare Krishna.
And we want to give you a small gift.
Small gift.
Since we were talking of the Tree of Life seminar, the best tree which we all have in our life is which tree? Tulsi tree. So this year we did a drama on Tulsi Maharani, and it has all the aspects of Tulsi Maharani. It's a Gaudiya Vaishnava presentation on Tulsi. So somebody who has a WhatsApp,
I already share.
yeah, now, if you could please share it again in this group also and temple group. I don't know if this is the same group everybody is in. So please watch that drama. It is the most important tree of our life, and it was a small endeavor from our side to water the five limbs of devotional service are there. One is worshipping Tulsi Maharani, but we don't know in depth the reason how Tulsi came, who she is in the spiritual world, who she is in Gaur Leela, and what is her contribution in the history of Gaudiya Vaishnavism down the line. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, everybody. So it's a great connection which you will have. Anytime you want to speak on Tulsi Maharani, give a lecture. If you watch it, then you'll have all the points to do it in a very visual way. So just a small gift. Or the tree of life, tree of devotional life.
Very
Prabhu is upstairs, but thank you, Mataji, and thank you, Prabhu. It's been the pleasure of every single Portland devotee that you've come here to share your valuable lessons and lead us through this introspective journey. We will definitely take a few points away from all these and keep you in our minds whenever we think about ourselves, focus and work on ourselves. Please come back to Portland and again and again. We'd love to host you and we'd love to learn from you. And thank you everyone for making this program a great one. And yeah, it's gonna be the prasadam time soon. I'm pretty sure all of you are hungry. Um, you can make lines here. We will arrange a chair here if anyone wants to ask a couple of personal questions to Prabhu and Mataji if you're okay with it. And thank you once again, everyone, for coming. Hare Krishna.